The New Patient Web Scheduler is a feature where you can add a link onto your website or different social media or event cards or wherever you would like to put this link, but it's a link that patients can click on and book their own new patient appointment for your office. So it's a self-scheduling link for new patient appointments. I want to make sure we're pointing that out, that it is for strictly new patient appointments. It is not a link or a portal for patients to schedule their adjustments or see their future appointments. That is geared towards our patient app. The New Patient Web Scheduler, like I said, is to capture those leads coming in and allowing them to schedule their own new patient appointment. To get to this feature, you're going to log into your location. You go to Settings, Initial Setup, Integrations, and then Web. This top part is your general settings. Where we're going to start is Location Slug. If I hover over this question mark icon, it does give me a description of what this field is. But your location slug is just simply a unique identifier of your office that goes on the ending of a URL. So this by default will pull the name of your office when we create it in ChiroHD. So this field is automatically created for you. You don't need to change it. It is an editable field, but you don't need to change it as it's just pulling your office name. If you have any desire to change it, we do ask that you proceed with caution, because once you change your location slug, any link that has been sent out prior, so any link for the landing page of your paperwork, any link for your new patient web scheduler, all of those links will now be broken and not work because your location slug has changed. So by default, you shouldn't have to change it. But if you do, please proceed with caution, and also please note what this is saying, that the slug should be in all lowercase and contain dashes instead of spaces. Below that is your paperwork landing page URL. This can be used later in our new patient web scheduler setup, but it's also good to know where this is located if you want to include it anywhere else in how your office operates. But this link will simply take you to the landing page of where your digital paperwork lives, and that's if you have digital paperwork in ChiroHD. When you first get to the settings page, the new patient web scheduler will be disabled. If you had the prior version of the web scheduler already enabled, it will be turned on and map your prior settings. But if you're starting fresh, it will be disabled. So all you have to do is click Enable to see the rest of the settings. This, again, if we hover over a question mark icon, we get a brief description. This is the link for this feature altogether. This is your new patient web scheduler link. This is what you would put on your website, social media, any of those places that you want to allow a new patient to schedule their own new patient appointment. When you are just starting out, this field will be blank and it will prompt you to create your settings, but because this is my test office, I already have some settings set up. But this is what our settings page would look like. First, it will guide us to pick our appointment type. Here you want to pick out only one new patient appointment type. Right now, our scheduler can only map to one new patient appointment type and one calendar. So say you have a normal new patient appointment, a new patient pediatric, a new PI patient appointment type. You can only select one new patient appointment here. So please select your general all-purpose new patient appointment. And the same goes with provider. We can only link to one calendar at this time. So you can only connect to one calendar in ChiroHD. We have some offices that set up a calendar just for new patient appointments, and they call that calendar new patient appointments. And maybe they only have it available for one slot going across their calendar. That way you can't double book new patients, and it leaves their other calendar, maybe their chiropractic calendar, isolated on its own. So some offices create a calendar just for new patients. That's a perfectly fine solution, but again, you can only point to one appointment type and one calendar. So you would just use these drop-down menus to select those. Here, I can allow same-day appointments if I would like. If this is unchecked, by default, the first available day that will show in the scheduler is the next day if any appointments are available. So you can choose to allow or not allow same-day appointments. Collect patient address will simply show address fields when the patient is putting in their information. So by default, we ask for first name, last name, email address, and phone number. But if you select collect patient address, it will show patient address fields. This is if you desire to try to capture that information. We can't make the address fields required fields, but if you have this enabled, you have a better chance of collecting that information. Times available for new patient appointments is where you're going to specify what time slots on this calendar would you allow a patient to schedule their own new patient appointment. You can be really specific with these times. So maybe you have more coverage at 10 a.m. and you want to allow a patient to schedule at that time, but maybe you don't have as much coverage at 2 p.m. and you don't want to allow a new patient appointment at that time. This is simply going to dictate what time slots on this calendar can a patient book. How the scheduler works is that when a patient is on the calendar trying to book their new patient appointment, it will first point to these settings. Look at these settings and look at what times you allow. Then it will look at your calendar and see if those time slots are available. If they are completely booked up, that time slot will not show to the patient to book. If it's available, it will show. Say, for example, I have 8 a.m. as an allowed time on my new patient web scheduler settings, and I have it pointing to this calendar. The web scheduler will first look and see, okay, I allow an 8 a.m. time slot, but then it's going to look at my calendar and see, is there enough space horizontally to fit a new patient appointment? If there is not any room, that time would not show. So for example, on this calendar, 8 a.m. would not be available time for the patient, but any of these times would. Another reason why some offices set a separate new patient calendar that the scheduler points at is because right now, our scheduler isn't able to tell if there's already a new patient appointment in this time slot. So say, for example, on my settings, I allow a 10 a.m. appointment and I'm pointing at this calendar. Because there is enough room horizontally to fit another new patient appointment, the scheduler does think this is an available time slot. So this could potentially allow double booking. So that's why some offices just create a calendar just for new patients to prevent this. Because also going back to this example, even though this is filled with adjustments, what if my office can fit in a new patient appointment at this time? Well, the scheduler doesn't know that. It just simply sees that that time slot is booked up. It looks at your available time settings and your calendar to see if it's full. After you have set these new patient appointment settings, let me just add a time as an example. You want to hit save, and you'll see it lets you know that saved, and then it changes this into a visual card. So you can see your settings, and if I want to edit, just click on edit. Now we're going into the scheduling flow. We have two flow options with the new patient web scheduler. Appointments only is our default option. What this looks like is the patient will first be prompted to select their appointment. Then it will go to patient details, so their name, phone number, all that. And then it will create the appointment. So here's what that will look like. First, I will be prompted to select my date on the calendar. Then I will put in my information. Schedule appointment. Here it will have you review the booking, and then I can book appointment. So that is the appointment only flow. Again, I am first pointing to the calendar to select the date of the appointment. Then I'm confirming patient details, and then I'm creating an appointment. The other option we have is lead first, and you can see as I change it, it gives me this graphic to tell me what this flow is. What this looks like is first, we prompt the patient put in their information. Then we capture that patient as a lead in the background. And this lead will be put on your lead management tab. Then the patient will be prompted to select an appointment, and then we book the new patient appointment. So here's the benefit of this. Say I'm the patient, I put in my name, email address, I go to the next screen, and then boom, life happens. I gotta go pick up the kids, I have to start dinner, and I forget to book my appointment. In ChiroHD, we have now captured that information as a lead, and they'll be on your lead management screen so that you can follow up with the patient and you still have an option to get them on the calendar even though they never made it through the process of booking the appointment. Just to show you as well, I'm also going to put collect patient address so you can see what that would look like. So now you can see the address fields have populated, and again, we can't make them required. Schedule appointment. At this point in the background, on your leads management tab, this person has been captured as a lead, and you can see with this sparkle icon, and if I hover over it, it was created by the new patient web scheduler. So at this point, this person's a lead. So if I stop the process right now, you as the office still have record of this person and you're able to reach out. I'm going to schedule my appointment, review it, and then confetti, woohoo, you're booked. In the background, since that patient did complete booking an appointment, that lead, it was over here in this lead receive column and now has moved over to scheduled. So it's not going to leave the person in your lead column that you need to reach out to because they actually booked the appointment. But as you can see on our end, we went ahead and moved it to the scheduled column for you. But the record of that person is still there. Below is the page theme. So here, the logo will automatically pull from the logo that you've uploaded into your office when you set up your ChiroHD office. And here you can use the color picker to change the coloring on the new patient web scheduler to match your branding. So maybe this should be green or pink. You can use the color picker to change and have a preview over here on the left hand side so that the scheduler can better match your branding. Advanced page settings are options if you're working with a marketing company. So these two settings, landing page pixel is where you would put the website of your office. Appointment scheduled pixel tells your marketing company the analysis and the data on how many clicks this link is receiving and things like that. But these are mainly if you're working with a marketing company, but I just want to touch on them briefly. The next setting that you probably will want to set up is this redirect URL. What this means is after the patient has gone through your selected flow, if you put a URL here, it will direct the patient right after they book their appointment to this URL. So a really good use case of this is adding your paperwork landing page. So I would copy this link and put it here under the scheduled redirect. So that flow then turns into the patient books their new patient appointment, and then they're immediately directed to your paperwork landing page to fill out their new patient paperwork. Or maybe you have a part on your website that goes into what they could expect at your office and what the flow of your office is. So you could put that URL here so that's more like an informational redirect for the patient. So possibilities are endless here, but this is a setting that I think could really benefit you to use because you can point the patient to another page after they have booked their appointment. The next thing I want to cover is what you will see on your calendar when an appointment has been booked via the new patient web scheduler. You will see this sparkle icon on the appointment itself. If I hover over it, it tells us it's created externally in the new patient scheduler. That same sparkle icon as we saw before is on the Leads tab, so you can know that this was captured by the New Patient Web Scheduler. So at a quick glance on your calendar, you can see this was a patient self-booked appointment and it was not performed by your office. If I am looking at the audit history of this appointment, I can open up the patient snapshot, click on Visit History, Audit. This audit button will show me the audit history of this appointment. And I can see if it says ChiroHD system user, that means it was created by one of our integrations. And this one is the New Patient Web Scheduler. So I can also see in the audit history how and who created this appointment. And in this situation, the who was your New Patient Web Scheduler. So that's an overview of how to set up your New Patient Web Scheduler so that you can add this link onto your website and patients are able to book their own new patient appointment within your office.